Welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. Live from Mississippi, we fixing to cook frog legs. I am a touch earlier than 7. I couldn't stand it no longer. We missed last week. I was chomping at the bit. Trying to get my oil up to temperature here. Hey, John. So we getting everything squared away. Thank y'all for joining in tonight. I am fixing to go ahead and get started making preparations. And I need to put my cleaning stuff up. I like to clean with Clorox stuff. Y'all, when I go to cleaning cutting boards and all this stuff, I be spraying Clorox everywhere. Let me show y'all what I did today doing that very thing. I don't know if you can see it or not. I got white specks all over my pants. And bleach splattered back on my britches. It didn't take it long to start making spots. Hello from Arkansas, the mailman delivering the word. Glad to have you with us tonight. JL327, Betty Kinney, John Campbell, Zachary Crawford. I've been wanting frog legs. I'll tell y'all this, I never did go last year and go frog gigging. I've went fishing twice this week, not long trips. Like one I filmed with the set power refrigerator thing, never caught a fish. I went back to another little old hole and tried to see if I could get crappie or brim to bite, never caught a fish. I don't know what's going on. I said, well, if a fish won't bite, I'll gig me some frogs because I won't give them much of a choice. But now, I tell y'all, I got a lot of competition with my frogs. Them alligators down there is eating a bunch of them up, I tell you. So, guess what I got my frog legs in? I got them in an ice cream bucket. Look at him. I had 16 frogs. So in my shaker, I have got self-rising flour, black pepper, salt, and some Tony's. That's it. I just thought I'd share that. Some of them ain't very big. Some of them little old bitty frog legs. Some of them a good bit bigger. But that's why I didn't get more than I needed. When I got about what I knew we would cook and eat, I quit. There wasn't no need seining the creek out. And I'll be honest with you, we don't have a lot of them up here. You gotta really know right where to go to find them. And most of it is in them backwater places and beavers are dammed up. But folks don't like frogs because they're killing all the beavers and draining all them backwater ponds. Alright, we got that. It's gonna be a little bit, this grease is taking a little while to warm up. When I was watching Lonesome Dove, I know Jamie, she told that boy, said them frog legs would jump out the pan when you threw. Said you got to grab them and put them back in there. So David Rush and I had heard that before. I ain't got no way to look at my chat but to sit here and do like Bruce Mitchell and pull it up on my phone. Southwest Indiana Mads, Magnolia Mama, James Miller, Jill Sweeney, Middle Tennessee. Thomas Shepard, how are you, buddy? Eddie Alexander, Suzanne Alford. Glad to have you with us from down under. We are getting rain down to earth. Greg, how are you? Raymond Rogers, Mike Culpepper. Yes, we are getting some rain. It has come a good rain. And Michelle, Jimmy Sullivan. I thought about you, Jimmy, yesterday when I loaded that canoe up and decided I was going frog gigging, but it happened just like that. John Campbell. Yeah, it's hard to find frogs up here. Mike Reeves, I didn't work much out this week either. I did. Jeff, how are you? Jeff Claudel. Oh, the fishing and stuff I did, I literally just jumped up and run to the swamp for about an hour and come back. 2 hours one way. I think we fished about 2 hours a day. I filmed for the Set Power Cooler. I don't know what's going on, y'all. I ain't been able to catch a fish lately. And I mean, I can't say I have just fished hard, but the water's messed up. I don't know what's going on. I really don't, so. Hopefully, though, I'll get it figured out, and we'll get. I tell you what, I'm about ready to do. I'm about ready to throw everything down and go grinnell fishing. And if that water will get right, but see, we keep getting rain like this, and I don't know how much rain we got, but we probably got a ½ inch of rain. It just come a downpour for a little bit. It didn't rain a long time, so I don't know how much water will be in the swamp, but it had been rising till the middle of this week, and it started to fall. Usually the catfish will bite if it's rising. Once it starts falling, it's over with. They won't hardly bite. I have got difficulties today. I was down there grinding on knife blades. All of a sudden, power started flickering. I don't know what happened. Something shorted out in my shop. And it is between, it ain't my wiring in the shop, it is something to do with the wire between the building and the pole. I think back years and years ago, I was putting in a clothesline and I cut it. So I put it back together and we encased it and I silicone and I sealed it all up. And I think it could be there. I may have to dig all that up. Really probably need to go get a heavier wire and run it down to my building is what needs to happen. But life goes on. I tell you this, I was working on it and I done cut everything off. I still had the breaker on up on our pole. And I said, well, it started pouring down rain. I said, well, I'm going to shut the door. I grabbed that doorknob on that metal door. Woo! I said, surely that wasn't that. And I grabbed it again, you know. Us smart folks will do it twice. I grabbed it again. Yeah, that's that door. I went on up there and threw that breaker off, so there ain't no power on to nothing down there. Keep the freezer shut. Hope everything don't thaw out. Uncle Sasquatch. William Roberts, Sharon Davis, Robert Calzadillas, Texas. If I butchered that, forgive me, please. Good to have all of y'all with us tonight. Brenda Joe, Linwood Powell. I like these basket fires. This one right here actually belongs to my big brother. I borrowed it from him. We at 200 degrees, so we got a little ways to go. I like to really upset people. When I get talking about cooking fish at 275 and deer meat at 250, oh, it just fires above pace. It needs to be 360 degrees to cook. I said, I don't like eating burnt food. I don't like my fish so hard I can't eat them. But these, I'm probably going to cook at about we're gonna probably shoot for 300, and then when you start throwing them in there, and see it'll drop it down to about 275. So I won't cook them along when I do fish. Red meat, deer meat, stuff like that, I cook lower because I don't want it to be tough. This, you ain't gonna have to worry about these being tough, I don't think. These are young, small frogs. If they was big old giant, it'd be different. The hotter and faster you cook stuff, the tougher it gets. That's the principle behind it. What?
I'm gonna bring this over here.
Yeah, because I'm having to thumb up there and block off everything to see. I got y'all's comments over there. Look, she's fixing me up. What?
I'm gonna try.
Wedge it in them between them blocks. Well, no, yeah, right there. That's perfect.
It won't keep white there.
Well, as long as the comments, I ain't got to watch myself. I guess so I need to in case something goes haywire. I'll know something went wrong. So everybody, let's address. Last week I had people blowing my phone up, texting, calling, everything else. So what happened to the live? Well, I mentioned in the previous video last Thursday that I wasn't going to do a live. So what did I do? All of those catfish that I brought home from the Tom Bigby River trip where me and Brody went up there and we camped out and I caught like 2 coolers full of fish. Because I had a lot of people like, you ought not bring that many fish home. You can't eat. Well, here's what I did. Friday night, we cooked all of those fish. Every one of them. I had 6 big bags. They were 2.5 gallon bags, and I had all of them over half full. And we fried all of that fish for the men's group of the section of our organization at church. All the churches in the surrounding counties are kind of in a section. I think most churches operate that way. And they had a men's conference, and my pastor spoke at it, but we cooked and fed, and I volunteered. They had pulled pork and stuff, but I volunteered to cook catfish. I just wanted to bring them home, cook them.
Larry wants to know if you figured out what your electrical issue was.
No, I ain't got no clue yet. I work on it. It started pouring down rain. I cut the power off and come in. I had live from Mississippi to do. I know y'all didn't want me to stay out there and work on that power tonight and miss another live.
Listen, I was at the pottery wheel and I had this beautiful cup raised up about this high. And all of a sudden the power went off. And I just had to take it off.
I think she slopped water off over in on the electrical parts of that.
There was water in there on the cord.
I hadn't looked. I think it's something outside. I think it shorting out against the building. I think there's something loose somewhere. Something ain't what we call something ain't jihad. Well, we at 275. We're gonna let it get on up closer to 300 range, y'all. Brenda Joe, I spit bugs. I'm talking about I had bugs. Terrible. What, buddy?
I have 1,000,000 subscribers.
You got 1,000,000 subscribers. Word.
Come tell all these people.
Come here and
hey.
talk to these folks. They ain't seen you in a coon's age. You ain't gonna say nothing to them.
Hey,
Tell them your feet stink.
His feet don't stink.
Look what he's got in his hand. This is all he wants to do anymore. When his sister leaves home, I'm sending that with her. I'm gonna be like, that's yours. You take that with you. That don't stay here. Ain't gonna have it. I lost it. We'll see if he eats any of these frogs. I still got that many left to cook or to batter, and these I am fixing to cook. And then we got some French fries. We're gonna chop our own French fries up out of our potatoes here shortly.
Roscoe's scared he's gonna miss something.
I'm wanting to put them in there, but it ain't quite hot enough. We over here staring at the comments.
He's done
Y'all
ran
wanna
back
see?
inside.
Yeah, he cut out. He ain't gonna.
He hadn't been playing his video game all day. We went to the park and played and ate pizza at the park. And he didn't start playing video games until it started raining.
Timothy Lauren, how are you? I had that neck knife on last night for a backup because I was afraid I'd dump that canoe and I wanted to have one I could get a hold to if that alligator grabbed me by the leg and I could.
Randy Mason said that white bandana makes you look like Chef Boyardee without his glasses on.
I like this knife, y'all. I really, and look, that thick blade, I hadn't never fooled with micarta, but I had some that when I bought all this knife making equipment, that the man had some, and it's like a big thick slab of it. That's power, right? That's my wife flipping switches. She don't ever cut a light off unless you in the room. But anyway, the sheath I'm using is the one that I had my Daniel knife in. So I think I'm gonna make me a longer one for the Daniel knife, keep this and that. And I think that is what I'm gonna allow all the these sheaths, because I like the way that sets way down in there. We almost up around 300. I'm probably fixing to go putting frog legs in there. Let's do it. Let's cook. Hey, we stand around and talk about it all night. Let's get on with the show. Y'all ready? Frog legs. Brody, you gonna eat frogs? You gonna eat frogs?
I need to tell something.
Tell it.
I've been in a skeleton civilized place in a cave.
That frog's trying to hop out of there, look. Woo, watch back with them bare footsies. They won't go down in there. Maybe they trying to jump out of the pot. Well, I can't get it to go down in there. That's funny, ain't it? That's better than the rest of these. There ain't no bunch of them. We're gonna get it done though. Alright, we through with that. Pour that juice out. It ain't really juice. What I called it though. Shake, 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 shake. I'm gonna leave it down in the flour. I need my paper towel. I brought me a paper towel out here, and I used the corner of it to light my fire with. I learned the hard way the first time I ever fooled one of these cookers. You don't take that little big lighter and hold it up there. You won't have no hair up to about right chin. You won't do that but one time. We gotta get over here and start chopping up taters. I don't know how long them need to cook. It's been a while, y'all, since I cooked the frog. I bet it's been 2 years. Yeah, it's been 2 years. Cause me and my daddy went down there and saw my daddy reach out that boat and wham, and that frog, that was it. But the last time I went down there and checked to see last year if they wasn't no frogs. Not very many at all. We worked hard to find frogs, and then last night the ones I found, I literally had to get up in the brush to find them. There's a few there, but now they ain't no just loads of them. Y'all see the texture of it? She said she was gonna make some more of these. Hello from Illinois, Jones Ride. Good to see you. Doug Lehman, Albertville, Alabama. Christopher Rice, Jerry Jackson, Kenny Sumter, Michelle, Lloyd Morris, how are you, man? Long time no see. Jeff Busby, Randy Beeson, Down to Earth. Butterfly Farm, Alicia Stringer, Michelle. We got 2 or 3 Michelles. Randall Hayes, Randy Beeson, Keith Brigham, Doris Gullidge, Steve May, Jimbo from Laurel. He didn't know I could pronounce that. Christopher Rice, Doug Lover and Neil, and I've been watching for about 3 years. Well, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all, I'm going to tell you, I am struggling to try to figure out this algorithm. I've watched some other channels that I'm talking about are just getting like 13, 20,000. I get about 1,000 to 1,500 views on each video. Well, if you only got 10,000 subscribers, well, that's good. But when you got nearly 40,000 subscribers and you only get 1,000 views and you constantly putting out content and not doing nothing to cripple you, it should be, what do you need? Come over here. Come over here where you... What are you talking about? Oh, I have no idea what he's talking about. And he won't come get in front of the camera where y'all can see him. But anyway, I've watched some of these channels that's got less subscribers than I do, and they get way more views. I don't know. I ain't figured it out. I'm gonna dump these on this, and we're gonna see what they. If they ain't done, I can always throw them back in there. Ah. There they go. Roscoe, don't you help yourself with my frog. It's on his mind, ain't it? Look at him looking at him. I'm in the way, you can't see him. Look at him looking at my frogs. Boy, that's a good way to get your hands in. But anyway, all of you that's been watching, I want y'all to know I do appreciate it. Look at that, them big white frog legs. Just coated in that deliciousness. All right. Wow, that is a cooking. Yeah, y'all get over him. Let's use this chopper. This chopper. Whoa, what happened to him? Woo, I like the way that does that. We ain't gonna need many coats. It's just us. So there ain't no need in cooking no pile of French fried potatoes. Oh, that done that. Now we'll take all of that in there and hose it off good. I'll put them back in there. And y'all, I have about defeated my fly problem. But now this, that's a handy little thing to have out here. You set it up because I can't handle flies getting on my stuff now. So putting that pine straw out there in that chicken pen helped a lot. But now I have got sticky tape hanging up. I got one there and one right over there. And then I have got fly traps I've hung up. I got one hanging right on that clothesline on the end of it. And I got one hanging in the chicken pen. I ain't seen no bunch of flies in them traps. I don't know if them ain't the good kind or what the deal is. But the pine straw has helped a lot, I think. And I did get some garden lime and I sprinkled it around in all them pens. So I don't be liking all it. And the big thing is me out here trying to film cooking. Who wants to watch somebody cook and every time they turn around and set something down, the flies hanging all to it? Jared Clower said they had a safe. He said it wasn't something you put money in. But he said that safe said you come in the screen door and said it was a box. It had a screen over it. And he said Mama had put them yellow tea cakes in there for them to cool. And he said them flies couldn't get to them. He said, but now they was hanging to that screen more good. Well. Cook. I think we need to stop for something. Look for a little one. Break one in half. I want to know if they're done. That's as good as KFC. He wanted a sample. They done. It don't take them long. I bet them done. That thing. Them done turned brown. That grease done got up to about 350 is what done happened. Overcooked. Yep. I wasn't watching my grease temperature. I was talking and carrying on. But no longer than we are cooking, it ain't gonna matter. I'm finna come clean. There was 3 in there, and then I'm fixing to cook. I'm fixing to haul off and throw these French fried potatoes off in there. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna dump them in that basket up here. We'll just do it like that. Yeah. Oh. Y'all look right there. Y'all look right there. Y'all reckon I can eat all of them? I might try. I ain't had nothing but some cookies today. I really ain't. I had some cookies. What else did I eat? That's it. I ate some cookies today. I ain't slowed down to eat. This thing right here, y'all a flat cook now. I wish I had to let it get some hot. Actually, I'm finna cut it off. There ain't no need. It's hot enough. It ain't never gonna cool down before them done. Ain't that a lot quieter? I looked in my teepee. I was threatening staying in that teepee one night and filming. It's grass knee deep in that thing. I tell y'all what I'm fixing to do with that teepee down yonder. I'm fixing to take that thing down, and I'm gonna fold the fabric all up. Of course, I'm gonna have to let it dry first. But I'm gonna take all the poles down, and I need to oil all them poles. And once I get all of them oiled, we're gonna re-erect it up here. The water where it's set and the water runs is kind of a low spot, and it runs right through there. So I'm gonna put it up here, and whether Michelle likes it or not,
What?
the TP, I'm finna put it right out there.
Right up here in the front yard?
This is a side yard.
I don't know about that, folks.
I can tell you what, you just watch and see
He's
what
gonna put
happens.
it right over there in front of my growed up flower bed.
You're gonna pull the weeds out of it.
It's got stickers all in here. I gotta get some blood.
I believe that's done.
That's the French fry. We gotta have a plate to put French fries on though.
Yeah, cause they ain't gonna fit on that, and them frogs done fill that plate slam full. And I'm gonna have to have something else to drink. I probably don't need it till I get through with my eating though. Y'all reckon I'm gonna get in trouble over at TP? I figure it's easier to get forgiveness than it is permission. I own stuff like that now. DH, y'all finally getting rain in Brandon? I thought it done been raining down there. Jimbo cooked a whole frog. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to clean the whole frog to cook it. And from what I could see on them I had, they wasn't enough on the rest of it to fool with. You'd have had to fry it hard and eat bones and all, like they do them little fish. My uncle, he used to catch them little old fish about that long, and I'd be throwing them back, and he'd now put that in the bucket. He can bite a hook, he goes in the bucket. He said, them snackers. I said, snackers? He said, yeah, you just put them in their head and all, and fry them hard and just eat bones and all. So they was the snackers. You eat them as a snack while the rest of the fish was cooking.
You got salt out here?
Salt? I had some in the refrigerator.
Yo, I can't quit yawning. I'm sleepy or something.
Take a nap. There ain't no salt out here. Somebody eat it all.
Go ahead.
Ah. Did you bring plates out here or we eating out of this? I'm gonna shut the lid on that. Huh? Oh, y'all, we fixing to commence to having us a bone chunking ceremony. I'm talking about, y'all know what a bone chunking ceremony is? That's when you're eating something off a bone and you're just chunking them bones over your shoulder. Yeah, bone chunking ceremony. Come on. I can tell you, I'm fixing to eat me a plate full of frog legs. I'm gonna do these frogs bite like I did them chitlins. You gonna salt them French fries, I'm presuming, huh?
Yeah.
Well, don't overdo it. And brother Tony's, Reverend Tony Satcheries is going on there. Yeah, I might want some now. I ain't gonna get no bunch of French fries. Alright. We'll get something to drink. Let me take this right here over here and lay it on my stomach. Sounds like it's fixing to rain on us. Rain, rain. I'm gonna lower this. I got my new tripod. Get it right there. I guess Mama's gonna come out here and eat with me. I'm presuming. I don't know that to be a fact. I was gonna. No, she has sat down in yonder. I don't believe she's coming back. I believe I lost her. Anyway, let's do this like this. Thank you, Lord, for the woods and the creek. Thank you, Lord, for the food we eat. Thank you, Lord, for the fish that swim. Thank you, Lord, for all of them. Thank you, Lord, for the white-tailed doe. Thank you, Lord, for the plants that grow. Thank you, Lord, for the birds that sing. Thank you, Lord, for everything. Amen. Sometimes I forget the words to my own blessing. If I do, I just wing it and make something up as I go. All right. J.L. Camper said it's raining in South Carolina. There you go, Roscoe. Man, it's been a while since I had a good mess of frog legs. My last frog leg eating experience wasn't so good. We went to that Chinese restaurant uptown and they had some and I grabbed them up. After I sat down with about 2 or 3 of them, I said, this is a bad idea. Roscoe ain't eating them bones. I'm gonna chunk them. I give you one right there and you ain't eat it. Jason McKenzie, thank you. They are amazing. I'll be honest with you. You did come back.
I'm not going to eat no frog legs. I'm going
Why?
to eat French fries. Woo, that wind's chilly.
Ain't nothing wrong with frog legs.
I'm getting a mite wet.
How y'all survive women like her that won't eat nothing? Leave and go to Taco Bell.
Somebody asked if I eat at Taco Bell. If I was not eating
Come on.
I just funded like 64.
You want a leg?
I just funded 64 withers. No,
Come here.
I don't want one.
Why not?
Because I don't like it.
You don't feel like it. Come here and
I
taste
tried-
of it.
No.
You don't like, look at him. Look,
I
look,
tell Mommy
look.
something.
What?
I don't want one.
It looks like a chicken leg.
No, I don't
What you need,
want
Kevin?
one.
I don't believe
Well,
you got
I
no
funded
peeps
like
in him.
64 withers, and I smell like 5.
You sure he's
I
mine?
funded 7
Says the man who won't eat
angons and the withers.
rutabagas.
How many of y'all eat rutabagas? Let's see a show of hands of everybody that likes rutabagas. They ain't nothing on the toes. I cooked them hard. But now, it's like them catfish I filleted. I got so many to eat, I ain't scrapping for meat. If I eat the toes, I may have to waste some of the whole leg.
On what, them? Why didn't
Yeah.
why didn't you cut their feet off?
Oh,
Why didn't you cut their toes off?
well, that was a whole nother hack with a knife. I didn't have time to waste all that.
I might have ate one if they didn't have feet on them.
You just done noticed this on there. You
know,
wouldn't
I
know eat
noticed-
one
I
no way.
noticed it over there. I was looking, they had fingers.
All right, well, that ain't. Here you
I
go.
know.
It's really good, actually. I mean, they don't hurt my feelings if you eat it or not. The less you eat, the more for me.
I like rutabagas.
Jason McKenzie said, "What is a rutabaga?"
They stink.
You ever been by a paper mill? Well, that smell you get when you go by that paper mill that's running is just what a pot of rutabagas smell like cooking. Now, if I was about to starve, I'd eat it. But as long as I got frog legs, I don't eat rutabagas. Raining again, by the way.
I say lightning.
They ain't gonna be able to hear us in a minute. You ain't gonna eat that. You did eat that.
But they can't hear us.
Can y'all hear us? I know it's loud. I try to talk loud, but John, I looked at the radar earlier, and I said, well, what we gonna get is gonna be on through by the time we're live, but we'll go in when we get through eating. We ain't gotta sit out here. The only problem is if it starts raining hard, the internet will go out. Charlie said he could hear us. Give Roscoe a French fry.
Oh, Alicia, he loves chitlins. He don't care what they smell like.
Rutabagas don't smell nothing like chitlins.
No, she didn't say that. She said,
I get what she said, that they both stink, but it's different. The smell of chitlins don't bother me. The smell of them rutabagas is worse.
ooh, I'm gonna have to go in. I ain't gonna sit out here with the lightning.
Jeff Claudel said he found a crystal punch bowl from the 1920s. Don't tell her, she been hunting all that stuff.
Yeah, I've been hunting one for the wedding.
We got all kind of old silver, antique silver. You eating grass, son. He can't get that grass out of his mouth, and I ain't helping him out while I'm eating. Yeah, just swallow it. It won't hurt you.
He probably don't need them little old bitty bones.
They cook hard enough to crunch up.
Yes, Huckleberry, we have it. He's having frogs for supper.
You didn't eat that frog leg I gave you?
No, I didn't look. It didn't look good.
Didn't look good.
Ooh, I'm going in.
Eat that frog leg and you can go in.
I ain't going in whether I eat that frog leg or not. I ain't gonna sit out here and get hit by lightning. Woo! I don't like bad weather.
Come on down, Raymond.
I'll try one bite.
Then she gonna want the rest of my blooming frog leg. Here comes your dog, got scared looking for us. Lucky you was better off in there where you was at.
It tastes like fish.
She grabbed that piece of
Oh, she got a bone?
Yeah.
Well, I don't let my dog eat bones.
Be at the veterinarian's office in the morning. I have sat here and worked them over pretty good. Jeff said he found it in his garage, little cups and a dipper. Lord help.
He found a treasure.
Ain't no telling what it's liable to be worth. Jones Rides, yes, we have wild hogs. We cooked one weekend before last. Yeah, we get plenty of rain. I don't mind the rain, but I'll be honest with y'all, I don't like that lightning much. We had a man last week got killed in a boat on Ross Barnett Reservoir here in Mississippi. Fishing. Lightning struck him. So it ain't nothing to play with. If the wind gets bad or the lightning gets bad, I'm gone. I can handle all the rain and sloppy and cold they are. Mike, you may have to come help me eat these. I got quite a pile of them. I could probably eat them all. I probably don't need to. I'm trying to lose some of this around my waistline. We about 3 hours from Memphis. It takes us, you can go from here up through Kosciuszko up to Baden and hit 55 and go to Memphis. About 3 hours, but now I normally go up to Sugar Lock from Philadelphia, go up 45 to Tupelo and then angle across because I dodge a lot of traffic for where we would go deliver pottery to at Germantown. I would go in and come into Collierville, and it'd take about 3.5. It'd take a little bit longer that way, but I was okay with it. You got hit by lightning, man. I can tell you right now, I don't want to get hit by lightning. I just do not. I'll be honest with y'all, I was out there working on that electrical situation at my shed, trying to trace it down and see what was going on. And after it shocked me at the door, when I went up there to cut the power off, I was still feeling this tingling feeling, and it was lightning a little bit. And I've always heard that if you got struck by lightning, you'd start feeling a tingling feeling before it hit you. I flipped that power off on that breaker and I broke and run to the house. And I was talking to the fellow what's in control of that lightning, and I was telling him to give me a few minutes, let me get to the house. Yeah, I said, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I was long stroking it to the house. I was making them big steps. I didn't want to get hit by lightning. Dowie Smith, I have not caught a crappie. I have been, the last 3 times I have tried to go crappie fishing, I ain't caught a fish. I went one day this week, not a fish. But now in my defense, I went catfishing that day too and filmed, I ain't caught a catfish, so. I don't know what I've done wrong. I have lost my mojo. But I hadn't had a lot of time to go. Cornbread said, is that a fig tree you pruned a year or two ago behind you? No, right behind me is a crepe myrtle that we planted. That fig tree that we planted, them it all died 2 years ago. They are huge. They are. In fact, I filmed today cleaning these frogs. I filmed cleaning one of them. It's gonna be a real short video. I'm experimenting with the algorithm, so I'm gonna throw a few short videos here, there, and yonder. So I filmed that today, and I thought somebody might want to see it. But you'll see in that video, my cleaning table is right up in them fig trees. It doesn't hung all out on my table. I'm about to have to move it. Dolly, I'll be glad to try them, but I'll be honest with you, I have struggled to find crappie. I have got some catfish bait a fella sent me, but I ain't had time to go catfishing, but now I'm fixing to have to go. I'm wanting to do a bunch of fishing, but there's too much other stuff been going on. Uncle Sasquatch said, I got hit by lightning. I got hit by white lightning once. Said, I still don't know if that turkey I was cooking is done. Oh, Lord. Betty Kenny, good night. Thank you for joining in with us. I may not be here no great long while. I see this thing right here is on 37%. Oh, Lord. I could come down there, Lloyd, and at Oak Tibby and catch some crappie. For whatever reason, I just don't like fishing Oak Tibby. And the main reason ain't the lake, it's the wind is always howling down there. And you in a boat fighting that, an aluminum boat's tough to stay in one spot. If I ever have enough money to buy the boat I want, it's going to have a spot lock trolling motor. I think that's 10 times more valuable than live scoop ever thought about being. Tackling timber, am I going to do some hide tanning videos? I'm going to probably do some hide tanning videos this summer. Because the reason being is I've got a freezer when I was tinkering around down there, slam full of fur. I've got all kind of fur and stuff that I have got foxes, beavers. And I tell y'all what happened when I was doing my buckskin, I got frustrated. I was watching old Ron Nail, and Ron Nail was over there boiling them brains on that stove. And I said, well, why is he I didn't think his brains could get hot. So I heated my brains up to keep them from going bad. He was talking about not spoiling them. And I ruined about 3 hides. The first one I forgot about on my part and left the pot on and scorched it. So really the first one was all my doings. The second one, I had the brains too hot, I felt like. I said, well, I knew better. They wasn't boiling, but I could put my hand in it. The third one, they was much more warm, but the brains, once you heat them brains up and cook them, they will not tan a hide in my experience. So I don't know what that man's doing, and but it didn't work out like he said, and I got frustrated. And then I said something about it in the video, and I had a fella called and scolded me about saying something about Ron Nail. And with all of that together, I just took the video down, and I ain't fooling no more. But my opinion ain't changed none. Doug Lehman, y'all got some big old frogs in. Jeff said it's hailing in southern Ohio. I seen there was some bad weather going through. Cornbread said, Henry said, tell Brody hello. Well, tell Henry we said hello back. If Brody comes out here, I'll tell him. Diana, that was what bothered me about the lightning out there today. Is I was fooling with that electrical, and I knew I had something shorted out, and I knew electrical current was in the ground, and I got that breaker throwed off and got that shut down quick as I could, and I left that mess and come in the house. I said I will worry with that later, because I felt like with that electrical current being messed up that it would attract lightning, and I wasn't fixing to take that gamble. I just. There's a lot of stuff, and I ain't afraid of much of nothing. I deal with about any kind of animal, critter, person. I ain't scared of the dark. I ain't scared of much anything. I don't like really, really deep water, and I don't like electricity, because you can't see it. If I can put my eyeballs on something, I'm good with it. You can't see electricity coming through, it bites you. Tennessee Sherry said lights are out in the hospital. Remember me in your prayers. Double pneumonia has me whipped tonight. We'll pray for you, Sherry. Jones Rides, thank you for joining in tonight. Have a good meal. Thank you for watching. John Campbell said the brim bite should be picking up. Yes, the brim, there are a few people catching some brim. Unfortunately, I have not heard of a lot being caught in the swamp yet. There's been some really good fishermen down there that ain't caught but 2 or 3 or so and such as that. So I'll tell y'all my theory, and I don't have an ounce of fact, and I hope I'm wrong, and I very well could be. But I'm thinking it dried up bad the last 2 years because they've tore all the beaver dams out in that river. So in the fall, it don't hold any water. The water that's in there is confined to these holes, deeper holes, and that's where all the fish congregate. Well, it don't take but about 3 or 4 otters per hole to wipe the fish out. So I really don't think, and then the grunnel is eating a lot. The grunnel eat a lot of fish now. As far as crappie and brim, especially the smaller ones, and I don't know how big a fish they'll eat. And then obviously there's a few Appaloosa cats in there. You see me catch one of them. So all these predator fish is probably wiping a lot of crappie and brim and such as that out. So that's my thinking. I don't know that to be a fact, but it has really dried up the last 2 years in a row down there. No, I ain't afraid of the alligators. Now the alligators, 2 years ago, I had to canoe in that hole of water, and there's several alligators there. And I had one big one. He was about 8 to 10 foot. I don't really know. I didn't see all of him. I could see his head was about that long. And he kept coming up in front of me, and then he would dive and go forward, and then he'd sit up there and wait on me to get up there to him, and he would let me get right up beside him. The third time he done that, he dove and went under my canoe, and he slapped his head up and hit the bottom of my canoe. Now, that made me a mite nervous. And I don't think he was trying to eat me or take me out. I think he was bad curious as to what I was. And I think he just wanted to touch that canoe just to see what it was. But now, he could have very easily just dumped me out, if he'd have wanted to, and that did make me nervous. Now, I couldn't sit here and say I was just scared, because I wouldn't have went back if I had been. But anyway, Bill Valentine said, am I going fishing anytime soon? Yes, I am. I got a friend of mine in Alabama right now on the Tombigbee River, and they had a boatload of cat today, which I don't want a boatload of catfish. I want to go target big catfish. I had plans last week to go over there Monday, and I was going to take, Jimmy Sullivan was going to go with me, and we were going to put the limb lines out and take our hammocks and string them up on the bank over there and just go late that evening and put them out and then run them that morning and come back home the Tuesday morning. But I had some problems come up with my money swapping around. I was expecting some money to come in. It never came in prior to the weekend. It was Monday, and then it didn't transfer over into my account, so I just wasn't where I could afford to go Monday. And then Tuesday, I had stuff going on. I had to preach Wednesday. And for those of you that didn't know, I preached at Beacon Street Baptist Church Wednesday afternoon. They filmed it live on Facebook, so I shared it to the Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page. So those of you that have inquired about hearing me actually preach in a church, the only one I know of you can watch is right now on the Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page, and it was from this past Wednesday. Go watch it. If you're on Facebook, get on the Spirit of the Outdoors page and go watch that. I think it'd be worth your while. I'm finna get some more frog legs. Y'all hold on. I didn't see no name. I took me a little break right there. I'm finna pull this camera up since Michelle has went in and ain't gonna sit out here and join me tonight. We're gonna do this like this. All right. Greg, thank you so much. He said I did an amazing job. I just try to do the best I can. I will say this, I don't never sit down on a tailgate or step into a pulpit to bring the word of the Lord that I don't put my heart and soul in it. I don't do it for show. I don't do it for money. I don't do it to entertain or to get views. I do it to try to reach people. That's my only reason. Randy Beeson said, I was on Naked and Afraid last Sunday. Oh, Lord, I don't want to watch that then. Because you might be naked and I'd be afraid. Did I say that out loud? The Jones Family Homestead, well, thank y'all so much. Watch it over and over. I'm going to do like old y'all. I'm going to put mine on and let them play on repeat while I'm at work. He tickled me. I looked, he had a short in the background. His big screen TV had him on it. I thought I was the only one that watched my own videos. I was wrong. Here you go. Here, get you a bite right there. Don't that look like a chicken wing? That's why I like chicken wings. I knew I'd like these frog legs. Man, I'm not going to eat the rest of them over there. I got some more over there, but I'm going to save them tomorrow for a snack. Julius McKinney want to know when am I doing another overnighter in the swamp. As soon as I can. My swamp, I have Monday night and Thursday night that I can really do anything because we have prayer meeting on Tuesday night, church on Wednesday. Saturday night's no good because you got church Sunday. Friday night I have a live. So I really I mean, there's not a lot of time for me to do a lot of the things I want to do. So it gets, and I don't know, some of these people be out in the woods doing their lives, and we don't have enough service here to go live out there. It'd be skipping, jumping. I don't know how they pull that off. Randy Beeson, his daughter was on. And you was on there showing primitive traps. So you were seriously, your daughter was on Naked and Afraid? Mark Butler said, "Are you related to Jeff Foxworthy?" Who knows? It's quite possible. Greg, you went and bought you a brand new camouflage buggy last weekend. You'll enjoy that. Jason, I had 16 frogs. I counted them today. She made it 21 days. That's a long time to be out there with what little they give them to survive with. There you go, Roscoe. Uh-oh. Do a live camp out with Starlink. I didn't get the mobile version of the Starlink. I could unhook all mine and take it like camping to where there's power, but it has to have power to run. Mike Harris said California checking in. Is the sun still shining in California? That's all I want to know. Is the sun still up right now in California? Tell me that. Answer me that question. It's a serious question. There you go. Sun is still up in California. Right there, I solved the flat earth globe theory. It's dark right here. You can see behind me. In Mississippi, it is black, dark. Sun still up in California. If it was flat, it'd all be dark, would it not? Come on. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. Now, we're not going to dive off into that can of worms. They some of them folks that they believe that with their whole heart. And it don't hurt nothing. I don't mind if they do. I just wanted to know for sure for myself. For my own personal knowledge. David Russian, I don't know if I'm going to have any leftovers or not. I thought I was, but they disappearing fast. I done ate 2 platefuls. And Roscoe's helping me. Roscoe likes him some eating. Roscoe's favorite hobby is watching me eat. I guess I could turn that down just a little bit. Y'all can see him. Hey, you can see him back there, though. Independent thinker, how are you? We having frog leg supper. I keep jumping around. Yeah. You want nothing? Make him reach for it. Greg, I'll be honest with you. I've got to do some research on that, on this Honda. This Honda has got I want to think they just run like 10W30 in it. I usually run all Mobil 1 stuff, but now we've had good luck with castor oil. My philosophy though is any oil is better than no oil. I mean, that's just a fact. My daddy is a firm believer in Shell Rotella. And it's because he worked in the oil field for a long time. Bill Valentine, I just put flour and then salt and pepper and Tony's in the flour and battered it like that. I'll tell you this, I wish I had done like my fish and put Louisiana hot sauce on the frog legs before I went into the flour. Next time I'll do that. We might go on another frog hunt. I'm gonna wait a while though. I want to give what's down there time to lay all their eggs and raise their babies before I go catch any more. You don't need that. Nancy Pierce, I am so sorry to hear that. Prayers for your family. So sorry to hear that. Suzanne, it could be. I don't know. I ain't going to try to sit here and say I got it all figured out. But if all of it was flat, it wouldn't matter which one was moving. It would all be illuminated till it went, like this plate. It don't matter if the sun's over here or over here. It would all be lit, till, unless this is just dome shaped. But I don't know. It don't make sense to me. That's all I'm saying. I sure don't know for a fact one way or the other. It really don't make me no difference one way or another which one it is. If it's flat or round, I ain't gonna know the difference. I'm about done with these frog legs. I done had some kind of ad thing pop up here and blocked off all my chat. Cajun Holiday, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you. 10W30 synthetic Jeff Busby said, I will agree with that. I think I like about 10W30 because and a lot that has to do with your temperature. The colder it is, the thinner you want. In the summer, it's going to get really hot, and I could probably go to a thicker oil, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to be filthy. See if I missed anything here. And y'all, look, if you asked a question earlier and I didn't see it and respond to it, put it back on there. It's hard for me to keep up with them. And it ain't gonna, but I don't purposely ignore anybody. I had a man message me today, said, you got me on the list for a knife, and I got to look, and the message was from the previous message where he wanted was middle of March sometime. And I looked all through my book. I didn't see his name nowhere. So, what happens if I open a message up and I'm not where I can write it down right there, and I close it and think when I get home I need to write that down. Well, by the time I get home, there's 10 different things done happen, and it slipped my mind. I can't help it. But I did tell him, you know what? We'll get you fixed right up. Nancy Pierce asked, did I ever figure out a name for the new knife? Well, no, I have not, Nancy. That is treats I had out here the dog got hope to. I have not figured out a name. But I do love this little knife. I've been toting this one, and this one is going to be mine. I'm keeping this one, most definitely. I done fell in love with it. That micarta handle, I have never fooled with micarta. And I know you can't tell a lot about it live out here. But it's got a full-length handle. It's a little bit longer than the Gideon, or at least the handle is. The Gideon, I had several different people that said, man, that Gideon, I love it, said the handle's a little bit short. Well, I patterned it off of another knife design. I did not copy it. I just kind of used overall, because there was a lot of these guys in the bushcraft world was favoring these little short knives. But I agree with y'all. I like something I can get a hold to. I don't need a lot of blade a lot of the time. So here's what I've done. I like the fact that this sheath is a little shorter. It don't seem to hang as much moving around and be in the way. It's got plenty of handle that I can grab to do any kind of whittling, carving. So I've had a lot. This is a knife, son. You don't need to be up here. You get your nose cut off, be slitted. So I had a lot of people saying, name it Zacchaeus. And several people has wanted to name it Zacchaeus. And then they especially put sycamore handles on there because Zacchaeus climbed a sycamore tree so he could see Jesus. But I don't want to name it a biblical name just because the man was short. I am, in my heart, I am going after notable people in the Bible. People that done something. People that... So, whenever I want to think of great people, I guess you would say, people that are, like they're known for something. Like the Jonah, I lost it in the water. It stayed there 3 days. That's how it got its name, Jonah. Well, Gideon, I named the Gideon knife Gideon because he told the angel, he said, I am the least in my father's house. Yet the angel said, thou mighty man of valor. Gideon went on to lead 300 soldiers to fight an army. So he was small, and then he took a small group of people and did a great thing. So that was the theme behind that. And then somebody just wanted me to name the Daniel knife. I had several people, name it. The people that actually wanted a Kephart design, and I wasn't going to call it a Kephart knife. So we named it Daniel, and Daniel was known for praying. I mean, Daniel, and praying is probably one of the mightiest things. So it had its reason. So this, I don't know. And I had some people say David, and I am leaning towards David. I have strong feelings of like Caleb. I don't know why Caleb keeps coming to mind, but you remember Caleb was with the 12 spies that went into Canaan land and spied the land out, and he come back and said, we can take the land. Let's go. Let's do this. And everybody was like, oh, no, there's giants over there. We can't do this. No. And so they never made it. And 40 years they spent wandering around in the wilderness. Caleb endured the wilderness, survived the wilderness. You see where I'm going with this? Caleb survived 40 years of wilderness. And at the end of it, he told Joshua, he said, I'm just as strong now as I was back then. Let's go. That man was a survivor. That man, if you're gonna have a bushcraft survival knife, Caleb is a good name. I am strongly leaning towards Caleb for that reason. But I have not decided yet to name the knife design, or I also have not priced it. because I am strongly trying to decide if I'm going to make any of these knives like the Jonah blade, in other words, not heat treated. I think what steel that I have that is good steel that I know that I can use without heat treating it and it be a good blade. I think I'm going to use those blades for just the Jonahs from this point on. And I'm going to add to the price where basically this little knife is going to be heat treated. They won't be an option, and they'll be made out of the masonry saw blades because I've got quite a stack of them. And the price will be a little more, but I can guarantee the edge on there then. And I think that the masonry saw blades will be fine for the average person. So I'm working, in other words, I'm working on pricing on these knives. So I just, will they ever be a knife named after a woman? Dinah, you know, I really hadn't thought about that. It should have, but it really has not crossed my mind. But you know that it's quite possible that there will. We got a lot of life left to live. There's a lot of knives to be made, a lot of designs. I'll tell you this. When we speak of naming one David, I'm probably going to reserve David for a Bowie knife. The reason being, as I make several Bowie large knife designs, I want to name them after David and his mighty men. I don't know why. That's my thinking, and I don't know that it will. But David was a great name. And that's one of the things I hate to name a small knife after David just because we think of little David, because little David grew up to be a great king and did a lot of great things, and David failed God, yet David was able to repent and say, you know what, I have messed up. And that's something that a lot of people just don't really put a lot of thought into. It's hard for us as humans to repent and say, you know what, I did wrong. So, you know, this, I don't know what I'm going to name this. I don't know yet. I think I want to give it some time and use it and see if there's something else that happens that. But they were a lot of great women in the Bible. I will totally agree with y'all on that. Now, there are some women in there that was just as mighty as some of the men. I've got a Gideon, a Jonah, and a Daniel so far. And then there's this knife, and then I've got basically it's a longer drop point. It's similar to the Jonah, and I haven't even made one of them yet. I've got a blank cut out of this thick steel. I am working on one of the Jonah knives out of this thick steel. It's going to be my knife. I have put some time in it. I put it all together yesterday. This morning, I tore it all back apart. I just wasn't happy with it. It had a couple of flaws that the more I thought about them last night, the more they eat on me. One, I put maple scales on it, and I just didn't like them. Number two, I put copper liners. I've got some old scrap copper sheet metal that was some flashing on a chimney. So I cut my liners out of a piece of copper. And one of the pieces of copper, when I was pinning it, the handle twisted and that maple is soft and that pin misaligned. So I also had a gap beside the pinholes on one side. And then I got to thinking about I'd put a copper thong hole, a brass thong hole liner in there for the lanyard liner, whatever you call it back there. I put a brass one in there and I had copper liners in there, and I was like, why didn't I put a copper tubing? So I tore it all back apart and I put Paduke on it, copper thong hole tubing, and redone it, and it's down there. It's ready to be shaped. I re-glued it back together, so I just didn't like it. I wasn't happy with it. Nancy, you don't want me to use Jezebel? Jezebel was a notable character, a lady in the Bible. Well, maybe not a lady, I don't know. I think dogs chewed her up before it was said and done with her. Don't want to use Delilah either. Somebody said to name the Bowie knife Samson, and that's a great idea too. And it's possible. I hadn't set anything in stone yet of what I'm gonna do. I'm still kicking around ideas, and that's why I hadn't jumped up and said, "Yeah, I'm naming this," or I want to use it and let it get to some. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When you start talking about Bible characters, there's very few that I don't like. It ain't like, well, I don't want to name one this guy. Every time somebody suggests, well, this character, well, I'm like, yeah, I mean, genuinely, every one of them, I'm like, yeah, he did this and they did that. So it's hard to choose, I mean, how do you pick one great man over another great man or a great woman? And so if there's ever one after a woman, I want to be first on the list. Robert already has two, so I need to catch up. Well, let me ask you this, Diana. What type of a knife? And here's my reason for asking this. And don't be offended by this. Understand where I'm coming from. But if I started designing a few kitchen style knives, and we made some chef knives, would it be offensive to people if I used the more kitchen style cooking type knives as all women names? Or would that really offend somebody and they take it the wrong way and be like, oh, you just think all a woman can do is cook? Because clearly that ain't I'm afraid that's what people's gonna think, and it's, so I don't know. But I really have, and I should have brought them out here, y'all. I don't know if my daughter's watching this or not, but I've got some. Y'all have to all put all this together, because she ain't seen it, don't know about them yet. I got some knives that was sent to me in the mail that are for a young lady that's getting married, and Nancy, you think that would be a good idea? Diana, what do you think about that idea? Make Samson's out of the jaw. I have got a lot of deer jawbones, and I've got a knife I made out of a deer jawbone. Randy Allen said Joe. Alicia said name the kitchen knife after her. Think I'm opening a can of worms? Quite possibly. And I'm good at that. I'm good at doing that. She'll never know. Sometimes though, they get to watching some of my stuff if I'm live to see what I'm doing. I've got her iPad right here. I don't even know if it's subscribed or not. Well, I'm going to be honest with y'all about the patch knife. I've got a few patch knives I've got to make. I am trying to taper off the patch knife, and I'm going to tell you why. The patch knife is great for a patch knife, but way too many people are wanting it to use for other things, and the handle is entirely too short. So I'm thinking, like, if I built a kitchen paring knife, I would extend the handle, shorten the blade just a little bit. Overall knife stay about the same length. Profile stay a lot about the same. There's something about that short handle that's just driving me nuts. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And I'm just trying to get away from the patch knife. Now, when I was big into the muzzle loading, and it is just a patch knife meant to just cut the patches and that's it. And then if I needed to skin a squirrel, I could get by with it. But for that to be your main use knife, I think it could be greatly improved, and you can't really improve a design. You have to make another design. So I'm probably not gonna ever quit making it, but I'm trying to. I don't know. I think the handle's too short. It's just my. And I know several of y'all have got one. Tommy Litchfield, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Brenda Joe, good night. Cornbread said his grandson Henry said, name one John Henry. John Henry. You know, I ain't thought about this, but I got plans to make some axes at some time, like tomahawks. I've got to get me a drift. It might be conducive to name the axes. Tommy, they trying to talk me into naming this Zacchaeus. I really don't want to name it Zacchaeus, because Zacchaeus didn't do nothing but look at Jesus. I mean, and that's a great thing. I mean, that's something I ain't gonna ever get to do till I leave this world, probably. So, I mean, I got all the respect in the world for him, but that was all he did. I mean, I want men that, I don't know. I like to have a story that connects why this knife is named that. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think this is going to be the next best thing to the Jonah knife. I'm just going to tell y'all. This knife right here. And I'm going to be honest with you on this. I'm really digging these micarta handles. I have never had a knife with micarta. And I really was like, I love wood. I like a wood knife. But after having this in my hand, now I don't know that all micarta is created equal. This is going to be some really good micarta. I don't know if it's canvas. I think it is canvas micarta. But so I am planning on ordering me some blank pieces of micarta in OD green. I want OD green micarta, and then I want some Hunter's Orange liners. So that will be coming at some point. The problem is micarta is about $10 a set of scales to order them. So you're looking at a hop in that option on a knife and the price of whatever knife it goes on. Just because, I mean, as you start adding all these options for stuff, you realize why some knives are so expensive is because you can't buy no big, huge chunk of, like I can go gather up wood from anywhere. I can cut my own wood if I need to. But that micarta I can't make. So you got to order it just about it from a knife supplier. But we'll see. I just like the OD green handles with an orange liner. I think would be a cool looking. Well, Dinah, my whole deal with the throwing axes is I want to make tomahawks out of railroad spikes, and that's really all they will be good for. I will water quench them. but I doubt I'm gonna forge weld another piece of steel in there to put a really good cutting edge where it's like a survival. But they'll be excellent for just throwing, sticking into, throwing axes, playing. But I've got to get a drift and master the building of them because it could be a lot of work in there. So why not call it the Roscoe? Well, I really want to stick to biblical names. Roscoe, but they let me put this up before I juke him. Look, do you see this right here you standing on? They were some treats that somebody sent. You better eat them up. He gonna be fat and happy. With JL327, I have never fooled with my Carter. This is my first experience with it. I've never had a knife with my Carter handles, so it's unique, and so far I like it. I can see now after having it in my hand, and I seen a man on somebody else's page. I think it was on Canterbury stuff. I think Canterbury must have offered, or somebody commented on Canterbury's post about his knives. He was doing some talk about his knives, and somebody commented and said, "Are you gonna offer them in my Carter?" And there was somebody commenting under there and said, "I don't know why anybody would want that for a handle on a knife." And I kind of felt that way at the time. I was like, I like wood, and I still do. I like wood handled knives. I just do. But after making this one out of that Micarta, because I had a piece of it and I wanted to work with it, I wanted to experiment with it, and then after I got it on this knife, I was threatening, hey, I may sell that knife. But now I'm like, no, that's mine. First one, that's mine. But I wanted to use it, test it. I want to abuse it. I want to see what it'll do. So, I don't just make a knife and throw it out there. When I make something, I want to pressure check it. I don't baton a knife, but I realize a lot of other people will baton a knife. I want to make a knife that I feel like is going to handle that. Although I don't promote batoning, I think it's the silliest thing in the world. The only batoning that I would ever do is if I've got a chunk up here, like I'm building a fire in the fireplace and I have cut a piece of pine kindling, I split up some pine kindling sometimes like that knife, but normally I lay my blade on it and hit it with the back of my hand and pop it. It's not like I'm trying to split firewood up, but I realize there's a lot of other guys that's what they like to do. So I want mine, if other people's knives can take it, I want my knife to be able to take it too. I just feel like it's silly. So maybe that explains that in an understanding way. Little James. I don't know. I'm Randall said call it John the Baptist. Roscoe was Solomon's second cousin on his mother's side. Well, that was information I did not know. What is glass filled nylon? That's like fiberglass with nylon in it, or the fiberglass resin. I wanted to know, could I make micarta? I mean, if it's canvas, is there such thing as making it? I mean, pork chop, that's what I think. I use an axe or a hatchet myself. Usually I don't never need to split up firewood when I'm camping. Now, if I'm up here, like I cut firewood with a chainsaw, well, I split that with a wood splitter. I can see using an axe for that kind of stuff, but in the woods, now if I go and take a chainsaw with me to the woods, yeah, and I'm bad to do that. But anyway, well, John Henry was my Reiki master and friend. He loved working with wood. Sharon Davis, keep praying for my brother-in-law. He is still in the hospital, but he did have his first drink of water in 45 days. The best news is he accepted the Lord and wants to be baptized when he gets out. Excellent. Excellent. Good news. We'll keep praying for him though, Sharon. Jonah Jr. John Culpepper, that fire hose would probably be the material to use. I could see where that would. Mike said the best way to name one's the way I like to do it. And you know that's probably what's going to happen. But I am considering every time somebody mentions a name, I'm considering it. But for some reason, Caleb is really eating on me with this knife. I want to give it time, and I don't want to just jump up and name it the first thing that comes to mind, you know. I think, you know, but this, y'all, I'm telling you, this is an excellent knife, and I've got one down there that I am fixing to offer for sale. If I had my flashlight in my pocket, I think I laid my... No, I got my flashlight. I need to run down there and get the other one. Jeremiah Johnson did say that Caleb was a name he always admired. Uncle Sasquatch, that is an excellent point. Well, John Culpepper, here's the problem with them two sections of fire hose. I don't know if I got the know-how or the time to start making my own handle material, or if I know how to do it. Y'all give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm going to get this other knife. We're going to come up with something. Let's hold on. All right. Now, right here, obviously, this is my knife with the micarta handles. This is the other one, sapele wood. Blade thickness difference. You can see that. This one is the same material that the Jonah is made out of, and the knives I've been making is 3/32. This one, though, has been heat treated. And I carried it for a little while. I have used this knife. I added the lanyard. I don't know if I want just a lanyard to be standard on them. But here's my conundrum. I'm trying to come up with a price. So if it wasn't heat treated, you're looking at about $130, $140, somewhere in there. By the time you add the heat treating, you push this knife above the price of the base price of the Jonah. My question is what is this little knife heat treated as it is, what is it worth? Because this heavier thick blade that I've got on my side, we're going to be probably over 200 on it. Because of that material. But we're going to have a knife that's the thinner material, and really, I mean, it's going to do everything that the Jonah, especially for somebody that their main goal is I want to skin deer and skin stuff with. I think this is going to be an awesome skinning knife. Oh, it don't have a lot of belly. Some people like more belly on there. I really don't. I made at some point I may design a skinning knife that is a rounded knife. I don't know. Tara Henderson, why do I always wear a bandana? It just become my thing, and I like them. I started wearing bandanas when I was welding to keep that welding hood off my hair, and I could wash these when they got that oil and junk on them. When them welding hats you couldn't wash, and then a regular ball cap had the buttons and all, and they would dig into your head with that. It just didn't work. Had the bill on it, so the bandana just become a thing. And as I've done that for about 4 or 5 years, it just stuck. That become my thing. And if I don't have this bandana on, most people don't even know who I am anymore. So it's just that. But now I do have a hat I wear every once in a while. It's got Spirit of the Outdoors on there. Y'all don't forget, if you need a hat, get on Facebook, go to M4 Laser Works, and Joey will fix you up with a hat and a cutting board. Cutting boards are $75, hats are $25. If you ain't got a Spirit of the Outdoors hat, you need to get one. Richard T said 175. Nobody else got an idea on there? There is Joey speaking. Look, we speak of Joey and there he pops on him. To cover the hole in his head, yeah. There you go. He ain't telling no joke. Look, I'm fixing to have to go. That thing's finna die on us. It done got up there and hollered at the... Woo, Greg, I'm not gonna go 200 on this. Now the one out of this thick blade right here is probably gonna be a $200 knife. The deal is like Micarta. I've got to order some stuff from Micarta and see what happens. But what I want to price is this little thin one. I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm thinking around the 175. Probably hit it at 160. I hate to go because all I'm doing is heat treating it. It's a smaller knife, so I'm thinking, I don't know. Tommy, this thing has got a feel to it. The design and all. I mean, you can put your thumb up there, so you can do any cutting. I think there's about 2.5 inches of blade. I ain't measured it. I should have measured it. But it just, I don't know. It's got a good feel. It's gonna be a hot item. So we got everybody saying 165, 175. Julius McKinney said 165 at least. Well, here's the next question. Who wants this one? Because I got 2 of them right here. We're going to sell this one, auction it off, and see what happens. Well, Greg, make a bid on it. Who wants... I'm probably not going to... This is the first one, though, that's going to go for sale. And we might as well do it on the live tonight. I've got to make a sheath. Every knife that I sell, unless somebody asks for it to not have a sheath, they want to build their own, they can do that. But if I sell a knife, generally, it's going to have a sheath included with the price. So that alone should bump, most of these guys is selling you a knife and they don't even have a sheath with it. You got to buy a sheath separate. So, Laser Addict, I think so. I think 160 for a knife, and then every option is $10. Lanyard, it comes with a lanyard, and y'all, I tie this lanyard like this for a reason. It is long enough to untie this center knot and wrap it around your wrist while you're holding this knife. And it ain't that hard to untie. The next thing, the reason I don't like it flopping around and in all of my way, I use the lanyard to pull it in and out of a sheath if I need to. But, you know, I don't know which way you need to run it like that. So you can run it through your hand and see you got enough to use it that way. You still. Anyway, that is why that's there, but I always tie it up. Very seldom ever use one for that purpose. And I use the lanyard to pull the thing in and out of the sheath. And that's what I have always done, so that's why it's got that extra knot in there. Julius McCune said he'd give 165 for it. Yeah, all of these will be heat treated. This one is heat treated. All of these designs will be heat treated. And I'm going to tell y'all this. If you want your other knives, like those of you that have knives on order, if you want them heat treated, that can be an option. The Jonas that I'm making right now don't have to be. However, it's probably an insurance basically on them if you did. They come in at about a 65 Rockwell. Or no, a 62, a 62 Rockwell. I researched that Tenry blade. The problem is when I go over to start using the masonry blades, because that seems to be all I can get my hands on right now is masonry blades. I can't find this blade that I'm using except what my dad uses over here. And so as I start making them out of that, I need to heat treat them out of that. So at some point in life, all of the Jonas will start being heat treated out of masonry blades, which I feel like after I made my Daniel out of a masonry blade and I heat treated it, and I've towed it and used it and toted it and used it, and it has held up excellent. So I feel good about it, in other words. And this is a masonry blade. I heat treated it the same way. So, and I've toted it and used it for a little bit, but I have not used it a lot because I hadn't had this knife very long. I had it about a week toting it, and then I got this one finished, and I wanted to tote it. And I'm going to tell y'all, there's a significant amount of weight difference with this knife. I mean, like holding them together, this one is, it ain't twice as heavy, but it's close. But I like that. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about what you want. The deal is I'm not going to probably do orders on any of these thick-bladed knives. I'm going to just make some and sell them, most likely. The orders and stuff I'll probably do on these. So I'm not Randall Hayes has got 170. Larry said we need to name one the groom. Oh, Lord. Independent thinker, thank you. Mike Culpepper said Job. I know Randy Allen said Job. I wondered about them, Tommy. I had not checked on them to see if they what the carb. I hadn't had time to fool with one. Right now, I got to get my shop back, my power fixed before I can do anything. They are 10:45. I don't know. I had to look that up. I hadn't even really considered. I got them piled up out there, and I hadn't. So y'all, we got Randall Hayes on this knife. The first one of these, hadn't even got it named yet. He's at 170. Give it just a few minutes, and we're gonna say it done. Because I'm not doing orders on them right now. I got to get some of these orders I'm working on done, but and I've got to build a sheath, and the sheath will look like this one I've got on. It's gonna be just a spear pointed sheath, cause that knife and it's gonna drop deep down in it. I like that. It guarantees you don't lose nothing. I have lost a knife or two, y'all know. So, yeah. So anyway, Randall Hayes, send me an email at justinpeden@gmail.com. Randy, I figured you'd be interested in one foot was said and done. Nancy Pierce, Timothy Lorraine made that knife I had around my neck. He sent it to me. He makes those. He probably could make. He was in here earlier tonight. There was a video at somewhere I opened that. I tagged him in one of the videos. Excuse me. And I tell you what, if you want one like that one that I had on, he can make that for you. Now, I don't know what his pricing is and all. He done a good job on that knife. It is a very good knife. It's got a good belly on it and all. It is real similar to the William Collins knives, and it works good. I have not used it a lot, but I do. And here's the thing, y'all. I am acquiring a bunch of different knives, my own different designs, and so probably from here on, you're gonna see me toting this knife, then this knife, then this knife, because I like them all. I love knives, always have. And I've pretty well retired the original Jonah. It's just time to set it to the side and keep it so nothing else happens to it. And not to mention, I want to test and pressure check some of these other knives. Jeff, you're gone. We'll see you on the next one. So did we lose Randall Hayes? I'll be honest with y'all, though, this sapele wood is a beautiful wood. I've got a good bit of it. And so y'all get a good look at it. That sapele is beautiful. It's a real similar to the black walnut. And I am trying to get my black walnut. Randall Hayes, what is your opinion on the knife name? Since someone suggested, ask what you thought about the name. I'm telling y'all, I'm leaning towards Caleb for the design. But I ain't like, hey, it's got to be my way or the highway type deal. If I was just going to name it that, I'd have done it, I guess. The old cases, Tommy, are excellent blades. However, the new cases, the new cases are a little bit different, I think. I think the quality has tremendously decreased. Rubidoux Creek Outdoors. What do you think, Rubidoux Creek, on the name of this design? I'm leaning towards Caleb. We've got a whole lot of people want to name it Zacchaeus. We've got people that want to name it Job. We're going to stick to a biblical name. I love a lot. If I was going to deter from biblical names, I got a lot of good names I'd come up with. But I don't know. Yeah, he said Kojak or Marcel. I'm going to stick to biblical just because that has been my theme so far. And I think once you get a good thing going, stick with it because, you know, I mean, just... Sapele is African mahogany. Peavy made some guitars and basses from it. All right. I'm thinking we finna name it Caleb. I think this is fixing to be Caleb right here. I don't know. I just like the fact that Caleb wanted to go into the promised land. Caleb had faith. Caleb felt like against all odds, against the giants that's there, God said we could have it, let's go get it. And then he survived 40 years in the wilderness while everybody else died out. And then he went into the promised land and he said, I'm still as strong as I ever was. I like that in that story. That just, I don't know, it's all of that stuff intrigues me. And this is going to be a small, but this one's going to pass. I thought the Gideon was going to be like the knife, but this one's got a full handle on it. You can grab a hold to that handle. And it's got enough blade to skin anything. I have whittled with it. I have done bushcraft type work. And it's not a big, huge blade. I really like it. I really do. So I think it's going to be Caleb. But don't you worry, we got a lot of other now. We still got one more new design that we've got to come up with a name for. We'll probably, I tell y'all what I'll do. The other design that I built, I'll try to have it finished by next Friday, or have one finished to where we can actually look at the knife and see what it looks like. And it's already cut out of the thick steel like the one I'm toting. And I may put, I hate to jack the price on it too high though for the first one right off the bat. I was thinking about putting micarta on it. The micarta option is gonna be a little more because I've got to order some though, but I've got some of this like what I've got. I've got a pretty good piece of it, but it ain't gonna do a lot of knives. Time you get through 7 or 8 knives, that'll eat it up. But I don't know. I may put mulberry or I'm gonna tell y'all that mulberry is an excellent wood. That is what's on my Daniel knife. Mulberry and Bodock and Purple Heart is the 3 hardest woods I've fooled with. They're excellent. As far as dense, they don't soak up a lot of water. You put oil on them and they don't soak up a lot of oil either. I love sycamore, but now I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The sycamore is very porous. And in the process of me buffing and trying to sand it and smooth it and oil it, you cannot get the darkness from where the buffer and the sanding and all that is. That gets in that wood right off the bat, and you can't get it out. And I threatened some of those light-handled knives. I have threatened putting polyurethane on them because of that. Because you can't keep a clean white look. It always gets a dark, dingy look. And if somebody can tell me how to beat that, I have tried and I can't fool with it. Larry, I have not worked with any dogwood. I have had somebody mention dogwood before. Yes, y'all, Laser Addict said to order your Spirit of the Outdoors hats, your cutting boards. I linked them the other day whenever I cooked out here and I had that cutting board out there. You can go to email him or you can go to his Facebook page and message him there. But get you a cutting board. Cutting board ain't but $75. The hats ain't but $25. You need a Spirit of the Outdoors hat. Ezekiel. Ezekiel is a good knife name. Persimmon is a hardwood. I had some persimmon. Somebody sent me some catawba worm. Hey y'all, this phone about to die. I was hoping I was done. It was about 9 o'clock. We're fixing to have to quit. If the phone dies, it's like gonna go bloop, and that's gonna be it. Cause it done told me twice we was running out of battery. Persimmon. Dogwood. I don't know. I made a knife handle or two out of plum, but I just used the limbs. I've got a tree I got to cut down out there, and I'm going to get some blocks out of my plum. So at some point, I'll have some plum wood. I have got some cypress drying. My dad cut some cypress trees, so eventually coming up, I'll have some cypress to make some knife handles out of. So, Kathy, I am a big fan of Mary Magdalene. I think it was Mary Magdalene that broke the alabaster box over Jesus. I am a big fan of that name. But if you name one Mary, how's it to differentiate which Mary it is? Because you got Mary, the mother of Jesus, and Mary Magdalene, and which I guess it could be whoever buys the knife. You know, it don't really matter. Rubidoux Creek, contact Joey at M4 Laser Works. He's using them Richardson hats, laser etching in that leather, and they awesome hats. You can't beat them Richardson hats. That's the best hat out there. I don't even wear a hat, and I like these. And he's got some awesome colors. Every color you can think of. You could get your green with a white mesh back, would look awesome. Esther, Ruth, Cajun Holiday, thank you for watching. Thank you so much. And y'all, if you, I found out if you don't hit like regularly on the videos, it'll stop showing them to you. Because I've had some channels that I like to watch that I ain't been seeing their videos pop up because I hadn't had time to watch a lot of YouTube in general here recently. In the last several months, I've been busy and trying to catch up and build on the knife shop, and it's been like a rat race around here for 6 months. And I just ain't watched much YouTube. We keep celebrating Appalachia, some of the homestead channels playing on the TV in there throughout the day because that's what Michelle likes to watch. And I noticed it from me not watching them and hitting the like button. I don't see them. I had to actually, when I thought about it, go search for them. And I'm like, oh, there they all are. So there'll be videos coming out. You won't never know it. So make sure when you see a video, you hit the like. for that purpose. I don't know that it helps me any or not, but it helps. It helps you to be able to see the videos when one comes out. Richard T, he's got that creek wax, Rubidoux Creek. And it is good wax. He sent me, I'm going to do some in a video probably when I talk about some of these knives coming up next week. I'm going to sit down and oil some, wax some sheaths and blades and all that on several of these new knives and talk about them. And I'll mention it then, but he's got some wax, and these last cans that he sent me is excellent. I mean, it's like perfect. So John, I will be here. I will be here tomorrow as far as I know. All I got to do tomorrow is work. I got to figure out my power situation out here. I got to get that fixed. I got power outage, so. Jeff Busby, well, thank you. It makes a lot of difference. Greg, all of my merchandise is on my Etsy store. So in every video, I have a list of links. My Amazon store is on there, which is, the Amazon store is just stuff that I use on a regular basis, that I order over and over, is in that Amazon store. All of my camping gear that I have bought on Amazon, it just stuff that I've tested over the years, and I know, hey, this is a quality product. I put it in this Amazon store so you can find the stuff that I use there. Then I have a link under there to my Etsy store. It's in almost every video, and you click on it, and all the stickers, shirts, there's all kind of stuff on there that Printify makes it to order. My daughter was making my stickers, and I ain't been able to get her to make me no stickers in 6 months. She's getting married and preoccupied with other stuff, and I quit asking. I asked her 4 or 5 times to make me some stickers, and it never happened, and I just give up. So y'all, I am fixing to close this down. Richard T asked, do you order it through Rubidoux Creek Outdoors? The wax that I had, he just sent to me. Rubidoux Creek, your wax is, I know he sells it on a Whatnot app. I don't have a Whatnot app. So I'm sure he's got videos. Go to Rubidoux Creek Outdoors, and I promise you he's got videos and stuff tell you how to get a hold of that. Probably an email address somewhere. If you look in the description of his videos, I'm sure there is a link to that stuff. David, good to see you. Thank you for joining. We fixing to close all this down, y'all. We are fixing to have prayer and close this out in prayer because it is after 9 o'clock. It is time to shut all this down. Y'all, thank y'all for tuning in so much. I couldn't do this without y'all, and I'll be honest, y'all, I look forward to Friday nights that I sit out here and cook and chit-chat and talk to you guys. This is as much fun for me as it is all of y'all, and it's growing. There's more. We had, at one point, there was 300 and something people on here, so, you know, we all get frustrated with the algorithm because it seems to suppress some of us, and it's a struggle to get videos seen, and it don't seem to grow. But, you know, if it don't grow, I'm okay with that. I'm having a blast doing it, and I'm going to keep doing what I do because I do it because I enjoy it. I really do. And I appreciate all of you for watching. So let's go to the Lord in prayer and close this out as we've started recently. Dear Lord, we're so thankful for the opportunity that we have today to fellowship together, cook good food, and eat from your bountiful nature, Lord. the grocery store that you have so graciously provided for, Lord. And we genuinely thank you for all of these animals and plants that you've given us, Lord, to survive on and to thrive on. Lord, we ask you to touch each one of these people that come through tonight, Lord, and mention sick loved ones and loved ones that have lost family members. You see these, Lord, involved in accidents, sicknesses, diseases, cancers that have passed away. Lord, you see each and every one of these people that has recently buried a loved one in the last year or two, God. Lord, you see their pain and their hurt, and I ask you to comfort them. You see those, Lord, that are fighting sickness and disease and cancers and illnesses and all manner of pain and hurt. God, I pray for healing in their bodies, Lord. I pray for direction in every one of our lives, God, that as we each toward the end time, God, Lord, I believe in an end time revival. And I ask you, oh Lord God, to lead us and guide us to where you want us. Lord, we all have our own ideas of what religion is and what methods of salvation are and our own doctrines, and we all vary a little. But God, we know there's one body and there's one truth and one message and one Bible. God, and we ask you, Lord, to open our eyes and our hearts and our understanding, God, that we find the way that you want us to live. God, that we align ourselves with your word and your way. God, help me to be like you spoke of as the babes, Lord, that you revealed it to babes, yet confounded the wise, Lord. God, help me to be as innocent as a babe and understand what you want me to have. And feed me, Lord, from your word, the bread, God, that I need every day to live on. God, we ask you to go with each and every person here tonight. I pray, Lord, that you bless every job, every business, every financial situation. You see every struggle in these individuals, God. And I pray, Lord, that you help them, that you guide them, Lord, that you bless them and help them, Lord, to be able to have extra left over and money in the bank, God. I pray for good health in all of them. I pray, Lord, against all sickness and disease. In Jesus' name tonight, we give you all the praise and the glory, Lord. It's by your power. We thank you in Jesus' name. Y'all, I have enjoyed it tonight. I thank all of you again for tuning in, hanging out with me and old Roscoe the Wonder Dog, as Uncle Sasquatch calls him. He has filled his belly up on Uncle Sasquatch treats today because I got a package in the mail, as I said earlier. And Uncle Sasquatch made some knives. Y'all seen in his video, he was sending them to somebody. Well, they're in my mailbox, and they're Lissy's wedding gift. So, Uncle Sasquatch, thank you so much for that. I wanted to show them, and we will show them in a video. I just want to give them to her before I pull them out and show them all on the camera. She ain't been here and ain't here tonight. She takes off to her boyfriend's every day after work. So, anyway, thank all of you for coming in, but Roscoe had some treats in that box that came, and he's full of them. We fixing to go pile up in the house, relax, get ready for a long day of work tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one. Roscoe, you ready to go in the house? Are you ready to go in the house? You ready to go in? He's ready to go in. Well, I can't get it to go.